What is good, everybody? Welcome to the anime slash non anime podcast, episode 1, titled Origin. I will be your host, Willo, and it's good to be here. It's good to talk to everyone. Something new, something different. We're going to talk about Origin. Of course, you know that this is related to my hero and also to myself, and what we're going to do is essentially talk about anime titles in the long run with regards to anime and non-anime. So today we're doing Origin, and let me talk about a little bit about myself. I will try to make as least cuts as possible. This is the first episode though, so please, bear with me on that. I will say audio will get better, camera quality will most definitely get better, topics will get better, and hopefully we can crush these once a month. I will try, but ideally twice a week. Not twice a week, ideally twice a month or bi-weekly, and that would put us, like, if we do once a month, that would be 12 anime slash non-anime podcast episodes per. I don't even know if I said this was a podcast or was supposed to be a podcast. We should do 12 per year, but if we do bi-monthly, we would do 24 per year, and that would be a great goal for me to hit. Of course, I would like to have guests comment on the show, either friends or other YouTubers or people that react like myself on the show. But a little bit about myself. Let's start. Also, a little bit of a note. I know I keep saying a little bit. Bear with me. We will try for these episodes to be less than an hour, in between 45 to an hour. It depends on the topic. It depends on the content. As far as I know, this one might even just be 30 minutes. So, let's just go ahead and start. About myself, my origin, where it all started. If you don't know, I am actually South American. I grew up in South America, and anime, when I grew up, I'm in my mid-20s, let's call it. Anime in South America is very different, but actually very popular. Just like you guys, most likely, you would see it on Cartoon Network or any pretty much televised show. I want to know in the comments down below, which show did you start with, or which anime did you start with? For me, two that come to mind, or two that I will remember vividly, not cartoons but animes. The one that I started with was Dragon Ball Z. That's like my earliest childhood memory is Dragon Ball Z. I remember I didn't even watch Dragon Ball, the prequel for Dragon Ball Z. At the time, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z with I don't know if I was in kindergarten, but I was very young, on the TV with my friends, and I will never forget, I would have dinner with one of my best friends at the time, and we would watch the Frieza saga every single night. Get from home, like go to school, come back, dinner time would come around, I would have this traditional South American dish with my best friend at the time, and we would just watch Goku versus Frieza, and that was what was being televised at the time. Then after, obviously, came the Cell Saga, I believe, and I think I stopped watching after the Cell Saga, just because maybe I would see it through Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network stopped broadcasting it, or maybe if I don't remember really, or maybe I just stopped watching for some reason. Who knows? That's my earliest childhood memory of anime. Now, what comes after? Pretty simple, similar to all of you guys. I kept watching through television. As easy as that. Internet wasn't really a crazy thing. So, whatever would be on the TV, if it wasn't a cartoon, it was anime. I remember that actually in South America, we had Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. There's one more. I think it's called Jetix. And Jetix would be the ones who would show, like, I think it would show like Digimon and things like that. Nickelodeon, well, obviously Nickelodeon, you guys have it in the States or in Canada. And Cartoon Network would be the ones that would show the ones that you want to watch, you know, your Tom and Jerry cartoon. And then at nighttime, that's when things would go crazy, and that's when you would get the best. At the time, for me, let's say I was maybe 9 to 10 years old, Inuyasha was on Adult Swim in South America. Let me know in the comments if it was in Adult Swim in North America as well. But I remember correctly that Inuyasha was the one that I was watching it, and I was watching it in Spanish, obviously. And honestly, it was just the best thing that I could watch at the time. I didn't care about anything at nighttime. When the episodes rolled around, I would watch every single episode. And I even remember that some of the episodes I'd be scared of because, you know, you had to deal with demons, right? And how do you call it? The shards, right? Like, and then the shards would go into the monsters, and the monsters would turn even creepier at the time. That's how I got started into it, and I just kept watching and watching and watching until the final act, which never broadcasted. I don't even think it broadcasted in North America. Maybe later it broadcasted with English subs, but at the time I had no idea what English subs were. I really had no idea. And I would just watch it in Spanish, man. That's all I could do. That's all I would do. And that's how I enjoyed anime back then. Later on, a bit, I grew up. I kept watching. So I remember I was in, let's say, maybe grade 6. I think I was grade 6, let's say, grade 5. And I think YouTube was the thing at the time. YouTube was getting bigger and bigger. And AMVs came around. So you would tune in, you would write down on the search, or even on the recommended section, if there was one, you would see a Broly recommended. Let me know if you remember those times. You would see a Broly video recommended with Goku, obviously, and you would just hear the Linkin Park in the back. I can't even sing it because this episode's going to get copyrighted, and I don't want that to happen. But you would hear the crawling, you would hear the in the end, you would hear all of those attached to the anime visuals of Goku fighting against either Broly, either Frieza, either whoever it was, or even just him being himself. And it was just amazing. I got into it, started like thinking about it more. I remember I was like, how can I watch this? How can I watch this? I want to know more about this, you know? And I stumbled, I believe, on DVDs. I stumbled on DVDs, that's right. I stumbled on DVDs. So in my country, sometimes when you travel from city to city, you would get these pirated DVDs on like the street, on the road. You would stop and there's this seller with DVDs and he would just sell. Latinos, you guys know what I'm talking about. But this DVD seller had every single Dragon Ball up to date. He had Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and I will leave at the time a little bit of Dragon Ball GT. I remember I bought regular Dragon Ball. I bought the Frieza Saga, I bought the Cell Saga, and I bought the Majin Buu Saga. That's all I did. I binge watched Dragon Ball from its entirety up until GT. In Spanish, by the way. This was in Spanish. Because no English subs at the time, like I'm saying. No English subs. So anime seemed to just stumble upon my life, and it just keeps on stumbling. Watch the saga, complete, rewatch it many times. And this happened when I moved from one city to the other. Like I said, I was traveling from pretty much one city to the other, or one town to the other. I moved, I cupped all the DVDs, and I watched them. And that was it. I stopped watching. Pretty kind of crazy, this story, right? So maybe I was around 12. I want to say it was around 12 to 13. I had obviously watched a few animes when I got to that point. So I had watched the entirety of Dragon Ball, the entirety of Inuyasha, maybe a little bit of Yu Yu Hakusho, just when it would either air before Dragon Ball or after Dragon Ball. Rurouni Kenshin, it's kind of crazy because look how I know all these names in English. and I saw all of these in Spanish. Roni Kenshin, so just the classics, I guess. Just literally the classics. Samurai X was a cartoon, so that wait, Samurai X was a cartoon? I don't think so. Maybe I'm talking about Samurai Jack was the cartoon. Samurai X, I believe. I'm thinking it's the same as Roni Kenshin, or is Samurai X the one with the X here? I guess, right? So I have watched a few animes, not from start to finish. Just Dragon Ball and Inuyasha from start to finish. I did not watch the final act for Inuyasha, but that's all I knew. And that's all I forgot. That's all I left in the past. And you know what? Like the classic, let's say middle schooler going into, like middle schooler teenager going into, let's say more of an adult high schooler from 7th grade, just starting middle school, up until the end of high school. I was here on and out. Also, just before I forget, I did see Zatch Bell. That's one of the shows that I also wanted to watch from start to finish. But the problem was it was on television, right? These things aired on television, and they would just they would like, you would have like episode 1 day, and then episode 2, and then okay, that's normal, and then suddenly you're on episode 7. Like you're like, wait, like what happened here? Like I don't know, like the way that that anime broadcasted in South America was just weird. I don't know if this was the case here, but you know what I'm thinking is maybe they supposed to air Zatch Bell at 1 p.m. and I would just see the rewatch at 9 or 8 p.m. right after I did all my activities, my sports, my stuff, right? So, and that's why I'm guessing that I was never able to catch the actual seasonal continuation and runner-up of the shows that I wanted to watch. Okay, let's get back on track. I'm still back on it. Middle school to high school, no anime whatsoever. I played soccer, so this is more about myself. I played soccer. Let me know what sports you played. I played soccer. I played tennis. I went swimming. Like I did swimming. I did all these sports that I could do. I tried drawing a little bit. I sucked at drawing. Never again. And obviously, you know, you're I don't know about you guys, but as a high schooler in South America, you kind of get into the ropes of partying. So yeah, your boy was partying here and there. You know, your boy wanted to see some girls. Your boy was, you know, classic high schooler, pretty much. Classic, normal high schooler life, I guess, right? That's what I did. Finally, you know, high school ended. I had my good time. And now it was the moment for me to actually move to a different country. And this is where I'm at right now. I live in Canada. I love Canada. And you know, one of these days, so actually let me even say a little bit about myself even more. I was not supposed to go to high school in Canada, but I went to high school in Canada for grade 12. In South America, you only have until grade 11, and whereas in the state that I'm in, or the province that I'm in Canada, you do until grade 12. I was not prepared for it, to be honest. Not what I expected in the first place either, because I thought I was just going to go into college or university. Some people don't know what they want to do. I wanted to go into college or university, and I was kind of forced to go into high school, unfortunately. I went into high school. I was having a tough time, man. I was having a really, really tough time. Not what I wanted to do. Not what I wanted to see. I was not having fun with the kids in school, with the high schoolers. They were just different, man. High schoolers from where I was from, compared to the ones where I was going to here in Canada, were just very, very different. Not the best time. Comes around, your boy actually was not going to class, and I stumbled on curiosity again. And I thought to myself, you know what? Where can I watch some of the anime that I like, that I wanted to rewatch, or that I thought about at the time? I googled, obviously, Crunchyroll popped up. Crunchyroll popped up. I would see that like that you had to pay, and I was like, I'm a high schooler, right? I'm not, I'm not going to pay $10 a month for this. Like, there's always ways. There's always ways where you can find out. I do pay now, by the way, but there was ways that you could do it. I mean, there still are. Not recommending those ways, of course, but I do know that not all shows are like not. You don't have to pay for every single show. So that was in 2014. At that time, AOT, Attack on Titan Season 1, had finished. I believe AOT Season 1 ended 2013. If not, it ended 2014, but this was late 2014. This was around October 2014. My first semester of high school here, that was around October. The entire series was free. So, obviously, your boy started watching episode 1. Like a blind anime watcher or a non I barely even knew what manga. I didn't even know exactly that anime came from manga at the time. This was recent. I mean, not recent because this was around 10 years ago, really. But it sounded like I said 10 years ago. I meant compared to my age. I just didn't know exactly what anime and manga was entirety. I just knew that anime was from Japan and cartoons were from America. That's all I know. Or anime was from the Japan and like cartoons for the Westerners, right? I didn't know that anime was actually a big thing in the first place, right? Your boy goes onto Crunchyroll, starts watching AOT Season 1. First episode, I am so impressed. I am so shocked. I am so curious. So what do? I binge watch a series in 2 days. I remember. I think it's 26 episodes. I just loved it. It literally made my love for anime just huge. And it all came back, right? I was like, okay, this show is great. There has to be better shows. And I started learning. I started learning that you have seasonal shows, previous shows in the future that are coming, trailers here and there, so on and so forth. And that's it. That's pretty much my origin story. After AOT, my itch was done. And your boy was able to keep on and continuing watching shows. And just I've never really looked back. Ever since 2014 AOT, I keep on watching animes seasonally. I try not to go back on shows much just because I get bored easily and my attention span is very low. So I hope you're still with me. If your attention span is very low, I hope you're still with me because I understand how you feel, man. It's tough. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Come 2019, your boy started, googling more about anime itself. Because I obviously 2019, I know everything. Not everything, but I know a lot about anime. I know what shows have gone through and gone, past and forth, trailers. And I see that reactions are a thing. I always wanted to do YouTube. So now we're talking about my YouTube origin story, how this channel came to be. I always knew I wanted to do YouTube. I actually did YouTube in 2017. I did some videos that were related to traveling because I was really into traveling. I went skydiving and I recorded that and I did a video on it. I wanted to do entertainment. I've always loved entertainment. So nowadays I still think, what if I would have kept on doing videos? But I did maybe 6-7 videos. Obviously, they didn't get any views, and I was like, no one's going to watch this. I better just go to college and graduate and do what everyone does, or what everyone tries to do. So this will be a short, quick break just to check that I am recording. I'll be right back. Okay, we are still recording. And I was talking about my YouTube origin story. Comes to say that I stumble across a Struck by Bells reaction videos. So 2019, when did Black Clover first start? Let's even check that out. Let's see, when did Black Clover first air? When did Black Clover come out? 2017. So 2017, and your boy obviously, it was 2019, and your boy obviously had been watching Black Clover for 2 years. So the hypest episodes, I would just go and like YouTube, the actual moment itself. And I stumbled across a reaction. I stumbled across a Struck by Bells reaction. If you don't know that channel, they're pretty much a couple, Steph and Mel. Shout out to them if this clip comes around. Shout out to you guys. They were incredible. Just seemed like good guys, good people to vibe with. And obviously, I didn't know what an anime reaction was. I didn't even know that people did reactions on YouTube. But I just kind of vibe with the idea that you can connect with someone online with their reaction. And that's what really motivated me to start my channel. Pretty much, you put your feelings out there. Yeah, you can kind of over exaggerate it here and there. Obviously, what will get views, what will get clicks. But it's more of like build your community. And that's what I wanted to do. Still, there has been a little bit of tribes and tribulations. We can talk about that in a different episode. The YouTube episode that will be with either someone or by myself. It all depends how this podcast thing goes around. But yeah, I never looked back ever since. I remember that a few shows were going to come out. I think it was Haikyuu, ReZero, Tower of God, and God of High School. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to actually kick my channel up, start my channel, my reaction channel, put my feelings out there. Contrary to what people think reacting is easy, but it's not that easy, man. I'm telling you, at least for me, it hasn't been easy to put my feelings on camera. But you only get better, right? So I started. Oh, and Kaguya-sama was the other show. So I pretty much started at my living room. Now I'm in my room. And it was tough, man. I was recording with my phone. Still am, by the way. Still am. Had no mic. I do have a mic now, obviously. Lighting was terrible. I had family issues at the time. But I wanted to do what I love to do. And that was really watch anime and record it at the same time. And if someone can relate to my feelings, I know it sounds corny, but if someone could relate to those feelings while watching the episode, then, also be it, man. Why not just post a reaction? Now, obviously, YouTube is flooded with reactors. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. And that is my origin story, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's move on to origin and what this anime, non-anime episode is about. Let me know what you think about this format of, in the title, I'm putting anime/non-anime, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about non-anime first, and then the half of the episode, we're going to talk about anime itself. So what I think about certain episodes, what I think about the title of certain episodes, and how the title of my episode relates to the actual episode. So, origin, My Hero Academia, we're up to season 5. My Hero Academia has been great. My Hero Academia has been not great. But you know what? Before doing this podcast episode, I did rewatch episode number 1 of season 1 of My Hero Academia. A few things that come out of my mind right off the bat. That doctor that we see in season 5 is the same doctor that told Deku's mom, or told Deku that he was quirkless. He does seem much skinnier in the first episode. And I don't know, maybe in season 5, I guess that boy just gained some weight. The boy was just eating too many fries. It is what it is, right? The boy was not on a calorie restricted diet. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. Second thing that comes to mind, which is actually very interesting, is that in Deku's notebook, I'm not even going to put a picture. This is more of a podcast episode. Maybe later on we'll add edits in. But in the first episode, in his notebook, he has his costume design already designed. I never even thought of that. That costume where he has like his ears like that, which is the costume that he has now. Obviously, he has done iterations of that costume. And he will do for more. Obviously, he'll do more iterations of that costume. But he had it all from the start. He had an idea of what his costume would look like. So it just tells me that essentially he always wanted to be a hero, and he was actually committed to it. He was committed to it from the start. He even says it on the first episode, no matter who tells me what, I've decided that I wanted to be a hero. So even if he would have not received the quirk from All Might, he would have found some way or the other to become a hero. And that is, that is a great origin story. That is a great origin story for Deku. Deku's a great character, obviously, goes on and forth. Now, contrary to our final point of discussion for the episode, let me see if I can come up with more. Contrary to Tenko Shimura or Tomura Shigaraki's origin story. I also rewatched both of those episodes. Jesus Christ, I could not believe my eyes watching those episodes again. I was like shouting. I was like, wow. Just incredible. Tenko Shimura, man. Tenko Shimura, incredible character. His itch was because essentially he wanted to destroy. I didn't even understand, but we get that little tiny bit of information when the mom is putting the ointment on Tenko, and he's like, "Mom, but it's only in here in the house that I get the itch." The reason is because he had that urge. His hatred was pretty much festering at home, while as in school, that boy was playing hero. That boy was probably eating good. That boy had friends. And then when he got home, that boy just got beat up. Everyone would not tell him what he wanted to hear. Everyone was just mean to him. Just a family environment that you don't want to be in, right? Like when you have a family, you want people to support you. And that also ties back into Deku's origin episode when he tells his mom. When mom tells him, his mom pretty much, he says, "Mom, can I be a hero too?" And her mom just starts crying. So she doesn't give him reassurance. That is something so important for parents to do. And if you have a parent that doesn't give you reassurance, you should talk to them and say, "Hey man, all I'm asking for you is don't tell me what to do. Just give me some reassurance that I'll be fine and that you'll support me along the way." That's something that Deku's mom did not do. I don't think it fucked with Deku's mental state that much going forward into the future to where he is right now. But it's definitely remarked and noted that in some way it does affect you. So I'm not saying it was a drastic effect. I am saying though that it did some damage, right? Regardless, moving on to Tenko, we get the episode where he essentially gets his quirk, destroys everything, and at the end, same thing, man. Same thing. Destroys his dad. Pretty much kills his dad. Unfortunate. Obviously, death is not good. But that family had it coming, man. They just literally gave birth to a child with the power to destroy. You weren't careful. You obviously didn't know that he had the power to destroy, but you were just not. They weren't even suitable for him to be a family. Moving on to the second episode, Tomura Shigaraki origin. Shigaraki, the last name of All for One. And that boy All for One just knows how to deal with people's hearts, man. He just is literally the puppet master. All for One is a genius when it comes to manipulating people, and he essentially took Tomura or Tenko to a different level. he essentially elevated him and aided him as a hero when Tenko needed it. Therefore, All For One gave the name Tomura, which means to mourn. I was actually pretty impressed, to mourn. When you react to shows and you don't rewatch it after, there's so much that you miss. So much that you miss. Also, we do see All For One's face. Because when we see All For One, we usually see his bottom of the nose down. But in this episode, if you go and rewatch it, we see his face up. We see his entire face, it's just darker shadow. But we see it after Tomura kills those two guys that were messing with him on the street. Great episode. Essentially, Tomura goes again, gains all his memories, destroys everything in the city, pretty much has Redestro to his knees. Redestro cuts his legs off to avoid like his whole body shattering from impact. I don't know if that makes much sense to me though. When I was like rewatching it, like he cut his legs off, but what about his other body? I don't understand exactly. But anyways, Redestro in a beautiful way pleads or pleads for his life, and he essentially gets it. He comes out and says, you know what? My bad, my fault. I went and picked a fight with you, and I lost. That's it. So you know what? I'll go onto the sidelines. You take charge, my guy. You'll be the head front commander, and my 110,000 people, that belong to me are now yours. Now Shigaraki's on another level, and essentially Deku and the rest are pretty much guppies, because Deku's quirk in the first place has evolved a little bit, but not much. He has another quirk. We know he has more, but that's it. He can use his other quirk for like 10 seconds maybe. That's nothing, man. That is literally not enough. So next season is going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. I've been so tempted to read MVA, but I've just noticed that it's 36, 38 chapters. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to read that many chapters, especially because I don't have that much time. And when I do read, I really like to get deep into it and analyze and think. Whereas if I don't have the time, I feel like I'm wasting my time, or I'm just not using my time effectively. So that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Let me know what you think. Today we talked about my origin story, how I pretty much grew up with anime to the point where I stopped watching anime for a period of a few years, let's call it 4 to 5 years, to then rediscovering my love for anime, and now being here. Finally, we ended the episode relating to the title of Origin. We talked a little bit about Izuku's or Midoriya or Deku's origin, and then we talked about Tenko and or Tomura's origin. That's it. If you like this episode, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment down below what you think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new. But let me know if you vibe with the energy. This is more chill. Your boy's rocking a kimono. Your boy hasn't drank water since we got here. But that's it. Let me know. And that's it for Willow. Willow out. Peace.